Hi, I'm Bri.
I'm Jacqueline.
And we are
Two Modern Women. On the show, we'll be talking about growth, lifestyle, parenting,
motivation, money, and managing it all.
Can't wait to see you soon. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
We are so happy to be back.
How are you?
So lately, I think we've been talking a lot about money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really empowering that women talk about money.
Yes.
And that women are empowered to talk about money with other women. Because we just get it, first of all. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so Bri and I have been having those conversations for, I don't know, a year now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every time we talk about it, we're like, why is no one talking about this?
Oh my God, I was so excited. It was like a few months ago, you came over and you were like, so I've recently started investing in stocks. And I was like, me too.
Yes.
It was like, and we talked about it for like at least an hour.
Yes.
And I was just like, this conversation. And so that's what I think like I thought of when we first started coming up with topics for the show. I was like, money.
Yep.
Because I think we both have kind of similar backgrounds, but I like money. I've always been a very frugal person,
mm-hmm.
but money, especially in our household, was always managed by my dad.
Yep.
And it was like never something that my sister and I ever really like were taught or anything. I just like would see like my mom would have a budget and she would typically just like go spend, and then my dad would be like doing the taxes and would be like, no, like this is, and I think that's what developed me to like want to care about money, because it's like,
yeah.
I don't want anyone else managing that. Like even when I am
totally.
married, like, and my husband and I too like are very independent with our money, and I just think it's like good for the both of us to be just as well versed. And yeah, we're kind of getting into a new paradigm with money, and I don't know if you want to say excuse me, marriage or women, just the partnership thing, because I mean not long ago men made the money, men totally
brought the money home, gave the money to, the breadwinner,
yep,
bringing home the bacon, that whole thing, and we're moving past that, and it's totally cool if that's your thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me personally, yeah, same thing. Well, I'm very, very thankful that I had an amazing example of resourcefulness. My mom, she was a single mom for a while, had us, and just made it happen, got it together. And I'm so, so thankful for that. And so I have that same mentality of resourcefulness.
Yeah.
I had some bumps and bruises along the way. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm really thankful that money has always flowed to me, and I've always been supported with what I need. But at the same time, there's a lot that I've had to learn. There's a lot that I have to learn. And so I think this is really just a first conversation on this show in terms of money, because there's going to be more.
Right. Oh, totally.
But I know you and I both had some things that we wanted to make sure we shared.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you want to dive into kind of what's on your mind about money, I'm here for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like the biggest thing that I've learned is how to manage money and maintain money. I think a lot of conversation is around like growing money, but I think then we like spend it. There's so much of like, it could come in mass quantities and then it's spent. And as an entrepreneur, I don't have guaranteed income. Like it is based on me, and it is usually project to project. So for the last 3 years, I have really learned a lot. Gosh. I used to think it was just a straight line, right? Like you go to college, you get really good experience, you get an internship, you do this, you follow this straight line, and then you get a great job, and then you're well off. And that is so not the reality. And although I got a college degree and although I got great experience, I was just opened up to a whole new avenue when I jumped in to this entrepreneur world. And I think what I learned most was that a lot of people that I meet have a multitude of income. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And then I started learning about passive income and what passive income means. And like, I am such a creative person, and so it really filled me up and fueled me and has really been a huge component of my success. is creating things one time that then can help serve and like be a part of my mission, but is not taking all of my time.
Totally.
It's like crazy to me. And so I think that's been a huge component for me. So I know that I personally have like 4 different forms of income. And like one is obviously the storytelling musician stuff, but then I also have a course, and then I also do speaking engagements. And so all of these things I think are very normal to me now, but were like a foreign language when I graduated college, and it's something that I really just learned about the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And stocks in general, too. I mean, that's so huge, and I'm, like, so interested in that. I'm still learning. But, like, it's so interesting to me, and it's something that has also been a huge contribution, and obviously there's, like, multiple ways to do it, and I'm definitely no day trader, but like don't
trading
that,
this
like,
isn't billions, people.
Right?
Although that's how I first got introduced to stocks.
Really?
With billions. Yeah.
Oh.
I was compared to the Wendy character, if anyone's familiar, at work, and I was like, that's not a bad comparison.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got into watching it, and then we got hooked on really just studying what investing was.
Yeah.
And that part made watching the show more fun.
Right.
Yeah. And they're coming out with more episodes. We're not here to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about money. No, I love that. Because I am with you. I mean, one thing that we're very undereducated in is money growing up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's the school's fault or whatever, or anybody's fault. It's just, so for example, I didn't know what credit was.
Oh my god.
I remember having to have my husband sign off on a loan for a car, even though I made the money.
Yep.
And I made plenty of money to pay for this car.
Yes.
Yet I didn't have any credit.
Oh, credit is so interesting.
Nobody's fault, but I had no credit. And so I was like, I can pay for this car.
Right.
Yet you're not going to give it to me unless okay.
Right.
So anyway,
right.
That was my first like shock into I need to learn what the heck I'm doing, and I can't just go be busy making money. I have to really get my stuff together.
Also be strategic about it and like intentional.
Completely.
That is so interesting. Like credit is, I still don't understand, but I think when my husband and I first bought a house, it was like that was a rude awakening for him. He was like he was the same way. He was like, what? Credit? I don't have any credit. Like, his parents helped him with student loans and, like, all these things with school. And so he was like, what is this?
Yeah. And I'm really thankful that I didn't have credit cards before then because I didn't know what I was doing. And I probably would have messed some stuff up.
Right.
Well, I mean, I've messed some stuff up since then, but it's all good. And so I've learned that's what the bumps and bruises are. You make mistakes and you learn. But for me, I really think that, and this is just comes from all my nerdy studying that I've been doing for 10 years on money ever since that credit card situation. It really comes down to 3 things. And this is totally a simple oversimplification. But these are the 3 avenues I study to continue leveling up here. And I see the effects of it in my life. So I'll share that story. Yeah. But the three areas are, 1, the fundamentals. So things like budgeting, balance sheets. I mean, basic accounting that unless you took business courses in college or high school, nobody really teaches you unless your parents did, which is great. But so just the fundamentals. Huge. You can go so far with the fundamentals, but that's not all. You can go even further with the second piece, which is really mindset and expansion. And there are a lot of like money coaches out there who talk about mindset and like, here's how you expand your mindset. Here's how you expand what's possible for you. I think it's very, very important. But I think the third aspect is marrying those 2 things together. So how do you do the fundamentals day by day? And how do you also do mindset and expansion day by day? What's your system that you've set up for yourself so that you are constantly killing it? And so really, we had some time over the last year, just kind of chilling in our houses and also seeing money kind of like creep away a little bit. Right. We were supported, but the pandemic definitely was not helpful.
For sure.
In money situation. And so, we created new, revenues, income streams that you were just talking about. But at the same time, I buckled down and I was like, okay, like this is my fundamentals. This is my mindset and expansion. I am not perfect. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
I have things I need to learn, things I need to face. But once I like faced the hard stuff, money started flowing in more easily. And I was like, okay, like keep going. And so that's kind of my intro to money.
I love that. No, I think that's really helpful. And honestly, I think what resonated most with me with what you just said was like the expansive part. That is something that I have learned, that like money flows. And I think before it was just like, for me, I viewed money as such a necessity, and it was almost like a stressor. And I think when I, quit my 9-to-5 job and started my own business, I think that was in a sense letting go, because by no means was I successfully set up financially to just leave my job.
You're so brave.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that was like, and I think it was so cool for me to let go of that idea of security and like a stressor. Like those were two words that I associated with money. And I think now I really love money. Like I think it's something that I also love talking about. I love talking about the different streams. I love talking about like how to generate it. I love associating it with my passion as well. And I think I was like raised that like I also was raised to not ever chase money, right? And that to never have that be something that you love or want. And I want it. Like it does like make me happy. It does relieve a lot of stress for my husband and I. And I think especially as women, I feel like that is not something you often see. I think we see it a lot more now, especially on the platforms that I follow and stuff, and it's very empowering. And I think it's something that I worked with my business coach on too, of just like, yeah, it's okay to like have these goals and aspirations that are money focused.
Oh my goodness, Bri. We did not plan this, but what you just said is right on the money.
Yes.
Okay, so with mindset and expansion, money is energy. And then people say that and you're like, what does that even mean? And you explained it really well. I mean, money is energy. Money is a resource, a tool to really get the feeling that you are looking for. And so for me personally, I'm using money to get the feeling of like stability, of peace, of freedom. And so cultivating those feelings while, you're living your life and making money or getting the resources you need is what you do when you follow your passion.
Yes.
So then naturally money comes to you faster because you already have the feeling that you want to have when you get the money.
And I think that's amazingly liberating. That's it. It's that right there. Instead of your focus being, or like for me, I guess that was what my mindset shift was. It was so ironic that like the points when I wasn't making money was when I viewed money as a stressor or as something that like
or when you were doing stuff that you hated.
Right. Or when I did stuff that I wasn't enjoying, that was not filling my soul, and I was not like super passionate about it. And so now that I'm so excited to come up with creative ways to like live very genuinely, I feel like that it becomes this cycle, and money now flows way more frequently, and it's no longer a stressor. Like I eliminated the mindset of money is a stressor, and then somehow it was more abundant.
And that's another thing that a lot of so I didn't actually learn this until I learned it is that we have a relationship with money.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's an energy and it's a thing. And so having that stressful, fearful relationship with money is something that, I've been working on for a long time. And I mean, it may come from me. It may come from, other things. But anyway, that relationship really defines everything. Because if you're, and a lot of people, maybe this was me, have it playing as a pattern or a program in the background without ever really looking at it.
Sure.
And being like, if for some reason, when you spend money, you have that feeling in your gut that is painful, then maybe there's something there to look at. If there's pain anywhere in your life associated with money, whether it's physical or just in your gut and your heart or whatever. If you kind of clench up, I advise taking a look at that, and a lot will come out of it. That's definitely what happened to me.
Totally. That's going to impact your experience with money.
Can I nerd out for a second?
Totally.
Okay, so I am a huge studier, and I love reading. And so one of my favorite books that I've read a couple times over the last year that I think explains this very well, and other things, it's kind of out there, is called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. I have it right here.
Ooh.
By Gandhi, and I can link it. But that was my favorite kind of mindset book.
Yeah.
A couple others that were really expansive. One's more storytelling format. You're a Badass at Making Money.
Yes.
Jen Sincero.
I love that one.
Yep. I have them right here. Rich as Fuck by Amanda Francis.
Yes.
She is...
I haven't read that one.
Oh my gosh. She's very sassy, but I need to go through it again, honestly, because there's so much journaling in there. You get something different every time.
Sure.
Think and Grow Rich, an oldie but a goodie. I'm not all the way through that one yet.
Okay.
And, now I'm kind of clicking back for a second on the fundamentals, but I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. It's very just like the fundamentals of money, teaching you the fundamentals of money.
Yeah.
And so I'm still working through that one too. But those are some of my favorites that I have in book form. The rest are on my Audible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely recommend taking a look at those.
What would your number one money advice be?
Mine? Oh gosh, that's really good.
What is one thing that really helped shift money in your life?
Noticing. That's probably my number one advice for everything. Just start to really take notice of how you feel about money, how spending it feels to you, how much is coming to you. If you are not a very pristine with, checking your bank account, do that more often, see how it feels, notice where your money is going, start noticing everything. And also, I think too, the world around us gives us amazing clues as to what we need to learn. The world is our teacher. And so noticing what kind of conversations you're overhearing about money, or what shows pop in your life, or just content that pops in your life, just notice that's interesting, and get curious about what money things or ideas are coming to you, and see, that'll help you figure out where to go.
I love that.
What about you?
I think mine's very similar, but I would say mindfulness, which is kind of noticing and acknowledgement. And I think for me, I've always been very mindful with my money. I've been working ever since I was 13 years old, and I've had multiple jobs at multiple times. That's been very normal for me. And I have also been very frugal. I'm very mindful with what I spend my money and my time on. But I think that has been very important, because I think there's this idea that you need copious amounts of money to be happy, or you need all this money, and actually that's not always true. I've been very familiar in the nonprofit world as well, and have never really had a very large income or salary. And although that would be wonderful, I think that was my greatest lesson, was to be able to know okay, so this is my yearly income, and budgeting it out, and being very mindful with where where my money is going, and creating a cycle opposed to it being a one-way street.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is just not just giving and pouring it out and having it go to things that aren't going to return to me.
Totally.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And not necessarily monetarily, but is it filling me up? How is this helping me live a more fulfilled life?
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, you're a powerhouse, and I've learned a lot from you just by listening to how strong and independent of a money flower you are, making it and spending it. And so thanks for being an example for us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And so share below if you have any tips on money, or any books, or if you've read some of the books that you've read. We would love to create some dialogue. So yeah,
or if you want more, have questions, we will we will get you more.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.